Now, what can you add into the diet that's gonna eradicate those parasites? I have to share with you guys something that I made that has made a complete transformation in my parasite removal journey. And that is this herb mixture that I've been talking about on TikTok for the last month. I call this my TGL, the Genius Life Parasite Cleanse, and it's packed with the most anti-parasitic herbs out there, as well as the most digestive friendly herbs out there. So it's got fennel, triphala, slippery elm, black walnut, marshmallow, wormwood, and I'm also adding pau d'arco as well as diatomaceous earth. This herb blend is now available on our website at thegeniuslife.com/shop. And if you haven't gotten it already, don't walk, run, okay? Because even if you don't have parasites, I would say this is a really great blend just for regular maintenance once or twice a year, because it's adding those bitter herbs into your diet that we all don't have enough of. And that's something I've realized, that it really stimulates the acids in my stomach. You know, if you've been eating for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years or plus, you know, depending on how old you are, and you haven't done a cleanse, you probably need something that's gonna give you a jump start, right? So that is what this cleanse does. And it also has rejuvenating herbs, which is really important for after you do a cleanse in order for your body to now regain that strength that it lost, because during a cleanse you do lose some strength because it's a very stripping and very extracting process. So how do you take this cleanse, right? So aside from the diet that we've discussed previously, you want to be taking 1 teaspoon of this TGL parasite cleanse every single morning on an empty stomach. And when I say on an empty stomach, I mean wake up, you know, do your different practices, whether you do abhyanga, maybe obviously you scrape your tongue, you brush your teeth, do all that, and then have a warm cup of lemon water or lime water, and then have your herbs. And your herbs will be 1 teaspoon put into a strainer over a mug, pour hot water into the mug, and let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Remove the strainer and then consume the herbs as soon as possible. You want to consume them when they're freshly made, within maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then wait an entire hour before you eat anything. You want to make sure you wait that hour because you want those herbs to work in your stomach, and you'll probably start to hear some things moving. Now, a lot of people ask me on TikTok, am I gonna see worms in my poop? Am I gonna see it? Unless you have a tapeworm, a roundworm, a pinworm, something that has been sitting in there for a long time and it's developed into an adult stage, there's a good chance you will not see the parasite. Most parasites actually that people have in the United States or in North America are more on the microscopic side, so they really don't grow to even be that big. But if for some reason you've traveled over the last 5 years and you do have a parasite and it happens to be an adult stage, you might see it. But personally, I have not seen any parasites in my stool, but I also have not traveled internationally for the last maybe 3 years. So I would say 90 to 95% of people will not see the worms in their stool. You want to make sure that when you do eat breakfast, you're eating a whole food, plant-based breakfast, and you want to make sure nothing in it is processed and you're using all healthy fats, and you want it to be a moderate size. You don't want to have a very large breakfast because during this cleanse, you're kind of giving yourself a little bit of a break. So you want to be very careful about your portions. For lunch, you can have your largest meal of the day. And again, it must be plant-based, it must be freshly made, and you do not want to consume any frozen foods during this cleanse. You want to do this for 7 to 14 days straight, and you can up your dosage to 2 teaspoons twice a day, or even 3 teaspoons 3 times a day. If you feel like you have a more severe case, you can go ahead and do that. And I have done that myself, which really helps. Do not take these herbs for more than 14 days straight, or if you're pregnant or nursing, because black walnut and wormwood can disrupt the processes that go on during pregnancy. So you definitely want to stay away from that if you're nursing or if you're pregnant. And like I said, don't take this for more than 14 days unless you're under the supervision of an Ayurvedic practitioner or a naturopathic doctor. Now, personally, I consider myself my best healer, and I would like to empower you guys to be your best healers as well. So if you take this for 14 days and you know, you're like, I really could use 1 more day or 2 more days, I personally would go ahead and do that if my gut has told me to go ahead and take it for longer. However, the general protocol for most people is that 14 days is good enough. So I just have to let you guys know that. If you're under the supervision of a professional, however, you may be required to take this for up to 30 days. It just depends on each individual and how your body handles the herbs. Last but not least, continue the anti-parasitic diet for 3 to 6 months. Yes, I said 3 to 6 months. If you want long-term results, you have to be committed to this process. That's one of the biggest mistakes I did in the past when I first did this cleanse, is that I did not do it for long enough, so I had to redo it because after 30 days, I just got tired. You know, if you're eating exactly the way this cleanse requires, more smaller portions, moderately sized foods, low carbs, no refined sugars, you're gonna lose weight. It's gonna be natural. Now, for a lot of people, that's great, you know, if you're overweight, but for people like me, where you're already kind of like on the smaller side, losing weight can be a little frustrating because you're not gonna be able to fit into your clothes. You're gonna be having issues with, you know, just how you look in general. People may be asking you questions. So I just want you to know to stick through it for at least 3 months if possible. And of course, consult with a doctor, specifically a naturopath or an Ayurvedic practitioner, to decide what is the best route for you to go on a long-term basis. But if you want this to work, I really do suggest doing it for a longer period of time.